Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to another hot evening here in Southern California and wherever you are calling in from. I'm sure it's kind of warm there as well. But thank you for joining tonight's Wednesday night. I'm coming to you live from Temecula, California. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be coming to you live from Montana. So I'm looking forward to my wife and I and the family taking off to Montana, spend a couple of months there in the summertime and just enjoying the weather. So, as the title of this message tonight says, three simple steps to restarting. Let me first start off for those last week I covered the message was, are you an overcomer, right? And of course, I used my son's story to illustrate what an overcomer looks like and what one goes through while overcoming obstacles that lay in front of them. And for those, and let me just say this, for those that reach out to me after the message last week with your thoughts and prayers. I appreciate all your comments. And as often as I told that story, so many times I told that story, the response a lot of times that I hear, because people will say, wow, what a tragedy that happened. Sometimes they'll say, man, you're a healthy son and this happened. And of course, it'd be very easy for us to be able to agree with that statement. And yet, that is not how we, the Licciardi family, would have we viewed it. You see, if we have viewed it as a tragedy, right, instead of just one of life's many obstacles, we would not be where we're at today. You see, throughout our lifetime, we will experience many things, and depending on how we see them or how we accept them, it is those defining moments that will truly shape our future. And so, in keeping with that theme from last week, I thought about each of you that are on this call tonight and what you all might be going through. I mean, right now, whether you're experiencing health issues, family issues, financial issues, or just plain Hülsa issues, I want to talk to you today about how to restart. And because we are all in the Hülsa business, this training will be geared directly towards how to restart your Hülsa business. And some of the things I'll be covering, it may sound redundant because many of you have heard, some of these steps along, some of my trainings. You've heard me talk about them at one time or another. And the reason that you might hear some of them again is because in network marketing, in the network marketing industry, there really are no secrets on how to become successful or how to achieve your goals and the dreams. There's just a basic, simple formula that we all use to be successful. So if you're ready for it, if you're ready to see these three simple steps, let's go and get started. Of course, the first one is, it's a question, and I call it the question. The first step that for those that need to restart their journey, I always ask them this question for them to ponder on. And I'll ask you this question, but before I do, I want to say something. That for those of you that you feel that right now you're 100% engaged in building your Hülsa business, meaning that each and every day you are doing the income producing activities that are all geared towards your success in Hülsa, like X amount of prospecting calls per day, or X amount of samples being sent out every day, or X amount of meetings per month, and so on. If you're doing all these things, then really you don't need to listen any further. However, on the other hand, if you have seemed to fallen short of these daily tasks, of the income producing activities that are needed to be done every day, then listen to the question that I always ask someone who has seemed to have fallen off the road to success. And it says it right here. The first thing says, what changed? I mean, what specifically stopped you from achieving your goals? What stopped you from reaching your dreams? What stopped you from living out the best life possible? The bottom line is, what changed? You see, when I ask these questions, it really, and look at, I've been doing this for many years. So I not only have I built teams, but also I, coach people, and I ask them this question. When I ask this question, it really gives you the opportunity to just take a step back and pause for a moment and ask yourself a very important question. What happened? How did I lose sight of what was not too long ago such a strong desire inside of me? What happened? What changed? You see, if you want to restart and recover from whatever it is that stops you moving forward, moving forward in your progress, the first question must be pointed to the person you look at every morning in the mirror. And yes, that is you. You must look at yourself in the morning in that mirror and say, what changed? What has happened to my dreams and to my goals? And look, the reason why we have to start there, because the business because because in the business of building a team of like-minded individuals, right? um, this is really upon you. You must understand that succeeding in life is not based on someone else helping you to get there. It's 100% upon your shoulders. It is. It's 100% upon your shoulders. And yes, we are in the business of building teams of like-minded individuals. However, your success cannot be based on anyone other than your own desires to be successful. Because I can remember back in my bodybuilding days, excuse me, let me get a drink. Way back when in the mid 80s to early 80s to mid late 80s, I didn't believe in having to have a training partner. There were certain times when I needed a spot, but I'll never forget somebody asked me, Joe, why don't you train with somebody? Why don't you have a training partner? And I remember this statement that I said. I said, if I need somebody to push me to become successful, I'll never get there if I can't do it myself. And that is so true when we're talking about success, because yes, we are building a team, but you cannot build your success on other people. You have to have the desire to be successful yourself first, and then you get buy-in from everybody else. So if you feel like you are in the need of restarting your business, you need to go ask yourself the question above, and then honestly take an honest assessment of that question. And then I want you to write everything down. I'm going to have Spencer edit this for everybody, so tomorrow we'll send it out, because I know there's going to be a lot of information that you might want to take notes on. But you have to ask that question and then really give yourself an honest assessment of where you're at, and then write everything down. Pretty simple, right? The first one question is, of course, what changed? Now, step number 2. I call it the answer. Now that you've answered the question to what's changed, let's talk about some of the answers and if they are real or excuses. You see, 99.99% of the time that I've asked somebody to do this and then they tell me what their answers are, typically it's always going to be, well, it's always going to be one of those things where, is it really an excuse, or is it a true thing? So it's just so important that you understand that you have to be real and honest with yourself. Now look, I understand better than anyone else that life can change, things can change, situations can change, and yet I'll ask you all this question: how bad do you want to change your life? How bad do you want something that you've never had before? Because see, right there, it's a very important question, right? Because you could be thinking about all the reasons why you've stopped working, right? But when you get down to the brass tacks, it's really, how bad do you really want to change? So, I know some of you might be saying, Joe, you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I've been going through. You don't know what I've been going through, right? Right now, life for me is impossible. Well, let me remind you of my story before I experienced the success that took me to where I'm at today. And there's some notes here, but remember, I failed in network marketing 7 times. Failed. Not had a little success, absolutely failed miserably. And I had come to a place in my life at that time where I was totally broke. And I was so broke that I really couldn't even provide for my family. I mean, like you heard my story. We decided to make the motorhome payment instead of the house payment because we were going to lose our house. You see, I'll never forget at that point thinking to myself, how did I get here? What changed? And after being honest with myself, I saw where I had failed and I made a commitment to myself that I was going to change my life no matter what it took. And so my wife and I, for 31 days straight, we got up at 5:30. We made a commitment to get up at 5:30 every single morning to watch our program called The Secret. It was like an hour and 20 minutes long. And it was through this program that we had such a profound paradigm shift that it put us on a course to the greatest success of our lives, to the Montague opportunity. But you see, we first made this commitment, right? And you've heard me talk about, our mind is like a parachute, right? At that time, our mind was closed. It was closed to being, to opportunities. It was closed to the way we were thinking. And so through this program, and the reason why I went 31 days, because we know 21 days creates a habit. Well, I said, heck, if 21 days created a habit, what's going to happen with 31 days? And we went every single morning. We got up and we watched this program. But here's the interesting thing. You see, my commitment, all these things, paradigm shifts, had to happen before Montague came into my life. But my commitment just didn't stop there. I spent the first 6 months of building this business, the Montague business, with no time off. I mean, I sacrificed everything. Every time I wanted to stop, I thought if I did, someone else is going to sponsor that next person that I was supposed to sponsor. Every time I felt tired, I said, Joe, you don't have time to rest. You'll have plenty of time to rest, but the moment is now and you got to take advantage of it. Every time someone said no to me about the business, I said, man, I'm just one step closer to my yes. And every time I showed up at a home for a home meeting and no one was there, you know what I thought? I said, I need to teach them how to invite better. So these were just some of my obstacles, and there's so many more. You see, I had every reason why I should have quit, but my why to change was bigger than anything else. It was so much bigger than anything else. And when I think about what kept me motivated, and I was just going back through some things as I was making my notes. I told myself, and I was constantly thinking this, that if I quit, I would regret this for the rest of my life. And so I kept pushing through the thousands of no's, even though and listen to this, even though I lost friendships through this, and not because they didn't join me or they didn't want to join me, I lost friendships because they said no, and they saw the massive success that I had, that my wife and I had, and they were so pissed off at themselves for not following me, that the pain associated with being friends, they just couldn't bear it. So nothing was going to stop me. And what I realized is that what I had in my hand at that time, I might not ever get this opportunity again. And so I had no choice but to make it work. And because of that mindset, not only did it work, but it worked in record time. My wife and I broke multiple records of just so many different things. But the important thing is that we just went to work. We didn't allow other things to get in our way. And you see, if you were to really follow and study, every person who's had significant success in their lives, right? They all recognize one thing, that their goals and dreams were bigger than any obstacle that they could throw their way. You see, their desire to achieve their goals was so strong that they would not think of restarting and have to go back to the old way of their old ways. They said, I'll never go back there. Just like me, when I said at 50 years old, I'm broke. I said, how could this happen? You see, their ability to see through the momentary setbacks and the ability to keep pushing ahead is what made them successful. And so right now, as you look at that question that I first posed to you, what's changed and what's happened, And then you write down your answer to those questions, right? I want you to really start thinking about, you know, am I really, is this what's really stopping me, or what is it? You have to dig deep. And I'll tell you what, if you dig deep enough, you'll find the real reason why, you might not be doing as well as you should be doing, or the reason why you're allowing things to come in to distract you from what you first saw, which is going to take me to the third thing. And I'll get there in just a second. But this is so important that you've got to be able to understand that success does not come easy. And I'll tell you what, success is defined in so many different ways for so many different people. But the reason why so many people join network marketing company is because the possibilities of unlimited potential, of unbounding potential, of what you can have and do and be. See, there's no borders to what we can do in network marketing. I don't care if it's Hülsa or XYZ company. You have an opportunity. And I always remember this in network marketing. Whether it's a good company or a bad company, a good comp plan or a bad comp plan, I always say somebody's going to be making money, because that somebody is not going to allow the chitter chatter or the negativity to get in their way and stop them from being successful. Okay. So step one, what changed? Step two, the answer. And now step three, let's talk about the solution. And, the solution is an interesting way. And because I've done this so many times before, and I've done it with myself, so I know it works. We've all done it. My son Christian has done it prior to his injury. And even today, he's still, learning how to use his mind to get better and to get healed. So, but now that you've asked that question, right, of what changed, and then answer the question honestly, now we have to come up with a solution. Here is where the rubber really meets the road. You see, there's really only two choices to the solution to restarting your journey. And so what I want to do is let's look at the first choice, right? In this solution, we must first take a step back to when you said yes to Hülsa. Now I said, really kind of step back and go back in time. You must step back, and think about what was it that made you say yes, not just say yes, but actually join Hülsa. And this is a very important step in this whole process, so that this has to be done correctly in order to get the proper results. So step back and think about, okay, what was it that made me join Hülsa? And what you need to do here is you need to, as you're getting ready to do this exercise, I want you to go into a quiet room. It has to be quiet with no distractions. I mean, so quiet that you can hear yourself breathing. So you must take a step back, right, and start thinking about, what was it that made you change? So go to a quiet place, take a pen and a sheet of paper, and then spend a few minutes quieting your mind, removing all the thoughts as best as you can. Now, whether you like white noise music or waterfalls or whatever it is, what I'd like you to do at this point is you need to really clear your mind and remove all the thoughts possible, because I really want your conscious mind to enact your subconscious mind so that you can be aware of all your thoughts and all your feelings, okay? So now in this next step, it's so vital that you must feel what you're about to see. Now just follow me. And I mean, really feel like it's not in the future, but it's actually in the present, right? So I want you to see everything that you're about to see. So what I want you to do is I want you to start thinking about all the thoughts. Now I want you to do thoughts first about when you first said yes to Hülsa. I mean, like, what excited you? What inspired you to say yes? Something inside of you stirred enough to where you go, oh man, I can't wait. This is it. I found it. So whatever it was, okay, I want you to think back clearly. And, think like maybe things like, this business will change my life in so many ways, financially, physically, emotionally. I can get out of debt. I can retire my husband. I can retire my wife. We can send our kids to the college we want. Or finally, I can fire my boss. Whatever thoughts you have, you must bring those back to the surface. It's so important that you bring those back to the surface. Because the next step in this process is once you're able to bring these to the surface, now what I want you to do is I want you to take those thoughts, So take those thoughts, all those thoughts that you were thinking about why you joined Hülsa, and this is so important. Once you have those thoughts, now what I want you to do is I want you to turn those thoughts into a feeling, right? A feeling that inspires you. You must allow those feelings to become as real as possible. You must bring all your thoughts into the present and not into the future. You might be saying, Joe, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're asking me. Well, for example, if one of your reasons for joining a Hülsa was to fire your boss, right? I want you to think about this, not about the much part about firing your boss, but what would it be like, right? For all those that are on here right now, what would it be like if you didn't have to live by an alarm clock Monday through Friday and only waiting for the weekend to come so you don't have to go by alarm clock? What would it be that if you did not have to get up every single day to alarm clock to have to go to work, right? And so what does that feel like? What would that look like, right? So or think about this. What would it be like for those that are married to be able to go to lunch with your husband or wife whenever you wanted to? What would that feel like? Or what would it feel like to have your dream home, your dream car? When I say feeling, what would it be like to have those things in the present? Because those emotions right there stir that subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind doesn't know right from wrong. They have no idea what's right or what's wrong. So what you want to understand is you want to be able to get these thoughts, turn them into a feeling. And what will happen is that once you turn those into a feeling, what happens, your subconscious mind will start to go to work. And if you do this correctly, it might take a few tries, but once you do this correctly, you'll come out of this thing so fired up that everything you first felt about Hülsa will be renewed. It will be renewed because now it feels real again. Look, we all go through the ups and downs. It's just part of life. But those who truly want to change, those who really want to change their lives, they want to be able, they push through everything and they do everything possible to reach that next level. And that next level for you is different than me. So whatever that next level is, but doesn't matter if you're looking for just for a little change or a big change, a bigger change and more work. You have to be able to understand that things are going to happen in your life, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do with each one of these things that happen. Okay, so now that we've got the solution, that you've gone into a quiet room, you got a piece of paper and a pen, you cleared your mind, whatever that takes, and then you start thinking about all the thoughts of why you joined Hülsa. And then once you have those thoughts, you turn those thoughts into feelings. And once you have that done, then what you need to do is now, as you come out of your mental session, you need to write down on that piece of paper everything that you saw and everything that you felt. It's so important that you take everything that you saw and everything that you were feeling, and I want you to write that down. You have to be very specific about what it was, what you saw, and what you were feeling. And here's the reason why it's so important, because this is going to become your daily exercise for the next 31 days. And this is only for those that really are serious, only for those that want to change their lives, and only for those that want to continue pursuing the business. So this is what you're going to do. You need to three times a day, you're going to take that piece of paper, and as you open it up and start looking at it, you're going to start having those feelings come back again, because you're going to start reading each one of whatever you wrote down there. If it's a paragraph, if it's bullet points, whatever it is, whatever you wrote down, then I want you to repeat these things 3 times a day, and you must read it out loud 10 times. You're going, Joe, really? Yeah, really. I mean, if you did this for the next 31 days, right, and all of a sudden you went to Red Diamond in the next 6 months, how tough was it to do this for the next 31 days? But that's something that you have to make that choice, right? Because I just know that at least if you do this for the next 31 days, at the end of that time frame, you'll be in an entirely different state of mind, in a different place in your life. How do I know? Because I've seen it done many times over and over. It's something that I've experienced myself. And for those that might be wondering, okay, Joe, you said there was two choices here, right? When we come down to the solution part, there's 2 choices. One is, of course, what I just told you. What is the second solution, right? Well, the second one is really the easiest of all, right? It's quit. That's your choice. The second choice is the easiest one of all, and you can just quit and forget about it. My grandfather said, "I'll forget about it," right? But that's your choice. And look, that's something that you have to deal with yourself. If your desires and your goals and your dreams are not strong enough, then yeah, you might want to quit. You see, I know that might be harsh for some of you, but look, it is what it is. Life isn't easy. Becoming successful and being part of that 1% of the worldwide income earners is not going to be easy. It's not. Anybody that you talk to or any book that you read, for those that have the ultimate success, they sacrificed everything and they never, ever, ever gave up. Now I realized tonight's message was, kind of really direct, and it was meant to be, right? I felt that after last week's message, you all needed to hear what to do when you want to quit. So this message I have shared so many times over the years with those that I've either been coaching or building business with, and you know what? Some got it and went to work and changed their lives and accomplished all they wanted, while others decided that what they thought they wanted, wasn't really that important to them at all. That choice is something only you can make yourself. And I love this next photo, and I've used it many times before because it's from the book 3 Feet from Goal. Right here it says, never stop trying. Life's real failure is when you do not realize how close you were to success when you gave up. For those that have never read the book 3 Feet from Goal, if you want to, do something that will help you personally grow, I recommend it, highly recommend it, because it'll tell you what it's like and what it takes to truly get there. Some of the things that you've heard me talk about will come from that. There's so many things that I learned, and right here is a perfect picture where the guy was inches from hitting the diamonds, right? But the guy above is so far away, but he's still working. He'll never stop. And I'm going to end with this, and it's a poem, and the author's unknown they don't even know who wrote this, but I'm going to read this to you, and then we'll end this. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won had he struck it out. Had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You might succeed with another blow. Often the road is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late, when the night slipped down, how close he was to that golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you mustn't quit. I love that, man. That's pretty awesome, right? Well, hey, everybody, I know it came at you straight from the heart, but, it is what it is. If you want to build, this is what you got to do to keep moving forward. And I look forward to seeing you guys, on the road to success, and I'm always here to help you. So everybody, it's summertime. Let's, for those that want to keep working, let's keep moving forward. We're in a new month, and new month means new goals and new prospects and new areas to accomplish. So I thank you all for joining tonight. God bless. This is Joe Licciardi signing off from Temecula, California. God bless. Stay cool, everybody. Bye-bye.